As long as you like good things, like SUV, drive me to my mansion. Then believe me, life is so beautiful. Waking up to everyday man, I dey hustle. Small time, my dreams go start to dey sweet me. Like my private jet, fly me to my mansion. But again, this struggle got me, and society been stealing the passion. Dying on substances, maybe I go fit get back my focus. Millions of fighters now who know they among done for. But as long as you and I see day, believe me, we go trend like fashion. We go bright as the moonshine. And we go the trend like fashion. Trend like fashion. Hello, trending listeners. This is OJB, and you are welcome to today's podcast, Season 2, Episode 1 of Trend Like Fashion. In the previous season of Trend Like Fashion, we reasoned together on how entrepreneurship that is meant to be our savior turned out to be a crime against humanity, and how entrepreneurship has been the root of all of our problems as human beings. In this season 2 of Trend Like Fashion, we shall reason together on how we can continue to save ourselves some happiness every moment of our lives, because happiness is required to define our ultimate goal of the future. It doesn't matter what we might be going through, even if we have to continue paying the price for happiness in whatsoever way. But if we are psychologically and physiologically fixed with the power of silence and darkness, we can continue to have absolute happiness with success guarantee all our lives, just the way it was from the beginning of human existence. Trending listeners, welcome to the season 2 of Trend Like Fashion. Happiness is the goal, and in the first episode of Happiness is the Goal, we shall reason together about power of a woman, fixed woman, how a woman is the main source of happiness. Trending listeners, I wish you all endless happiness. When I look around in the society every day, I found too many heads down. Happiness is so scarce and success seems not to be guaranteed because humanity is not communicating in love language anymore. This needs to be fixed, I thought, because happiness is the goal. The future is our success, and the future is when we die. How many people cried at our funeral? How many people remained in silence? This should be based on our impact and involvement in the process of life. And that is the only way to determine our success as human beings. Because I want people to cry at my funeral, so I am doing this. We need happiness to be free once again in our society, and success to be guaranteed all the time when we communicate in love language again, just the way it was from the beginning of life. And if we all need to have impact and involvement in the process of life, psychologically we have to be fixed, physiologically we have to be fixed. But one thing has to be fixed for sure before happiness to be absolutely free and success to be guaranteed: the foundation of life, the woman. When a woman follows the process of life from birth of a child to death, we say such woman is fixed and a success, because a woman is the first person to think and to be influenced by the things of earth. That makes them carry the life process from the beginning of creation. A woman is the first person to think. That is why women will forever evolve more than their opposite gender. A woman will evolve in mind and intellect more than a man because she is the first person to think anything. A fixed woman will always be psychologically and physiologically arranged and organized from the birth of a child till death tear them apart. A woman is a fixed person from the birth of her baby. But unfortunately, our society is disorganizing them psychologically and physiologically as they evolve in the process of life. A fixed woman followed life process this way. From the birth of a child, when a baby cried, it means the baby is psychologically fixed automatically. The baby cried because it sensed change of environment. And babies will always come with one language, love. That when the cord between the mother and the baby is broken, the language will be communicated in spirit. Then the mother and the midwives will always acknowledge the language with tears, smiles, and a lot of happiness. Then we can say the mother and the midwives are psychologically okay because they were all inspired and influenced by the baby's language, and that is the language well spoken. Then the baby gets the first inspiration and influence from the mother, and the baby begins to have some memory. The first memory of a baby is food, breast milk, and that is a life in process. As time evolves, a fixed woman also evolves with her baby. And when the baby starts reacting to some needs because the baby is psychologically and physiologically fixed, the baby will begin to cry. And because she is a fixed woman too, she knows the life process. Then she wants to know why the baby is crying. A fixed woman will observe the temperature of the environment of her baby. Is it too cold or too hot? And when she observes the environment is not suitable for her baby, she adjusts to a temperature that suits. If the baby stops crying and continue play, at this process of life, the woman is a success. But when the woman observes that the temperature is good for her baby, but the baby won't stop crying still, then she requires another process of life. Because the woman is fixed, then she can quickly think of how long her baby has been in the same position. Is it 30 minutes or more? Is it 30 minutes or less? But because a fixed woman can't estimate the amount of time, she can change the position and location of her baby. And when the baby stops crying and continue play, then we can call such a woman a success. And if the baby won't stop crying despite change of position, a fixed woman will see her baby need to eat. Then the baby need to eat is being attended to. And if the baby stop crying, we can call such a woman a success at this process of life. But if the baby won't stop crying or refuse to take food, a fixed woman will go ahead to examine her baby health to see if her baby needs medical care. Then medical care is given to the baby, and the baby will be fine again. Then we can call such a woman a success in this process of life because she is psychologically fixed to observe, perceive, and sense the needs of her baby at all levels. As time evolves, the woman evolves with her child. And once the child begins to get inspired by the things of the environment apart from the woman, a fixed woman will observe her child is mature to see the beautiful things of nature. A fixed woman will set her child on a journey full of life and magic. A journey to explore life for magical things to start happening between herself and her child. When you take a child on a magical journey to explore life, at a time when the child is still blind to be inspired by the things of man, and when the child is still deaf to meanings, take the child on a journey by road from the south through the west, along the east and the north. Let the child see the true beauty of life. Let the child be inspired and influenced by the things of nature itself. Take the child to the mountains and hills. Let the child see life from afar. Let the child see what is beneath and above. Also, take the child to the beach. Let the child see the magical wave of the ocean. Take the child to the sea. Let the child see the gentleness of the sea. At dusk, sing some rhymes and recite some poems. under the sky that is clear from the cloud but sparkling with some milky ways of stars with the brightest moonlight. And magical things will start happening to the child. Once the child starts wondering if there is an end or no end to all of the adventure you took him, then the child begins to daydream about the adventure of life. Then the child begins to see magical things while daydreaming. The child continues to see more and more and more, and magical things will start happening to the child. You would want to know how everything began. You are such a fixed woman. If you take your child through this magic of life, then such woman can be referred to as a success. As time evolved, the woman evolved with her child again. At this time, the child is grown up. A fixed woman will set the child on his own journey of life. And when the child is gone, a fixed woman will definitely miss the child. A fixed woman will always remember every memory and beautiful things she had with the child. When a fixed woman smiles with tears running down her eyes, then she has communicated with her child in a language of love. And wherever the child may be on the planet Earth at the time a fixed woman smiles with tears, trying to remember her child, the child will always acknowledge her remembrance with some smiles and happiness simultaneously. The child will remember all the memories and acknowledge it with the same language of love. And that is the language well spoken. And when a fixed woman has done communicating with her child in this language called love, a fixed woman will turn around to her surroundings and continue life happily with happy people, expecting her child to return a successful person. If a woman can complete life process this way, then such a woman is a success to the world because she became an inspiration and influence of happiness throughout the life of her child. And the child definitely will continue to be an inspiration and influence of happiness to everyone around. If process of life can always be completed this way, then life will again be a place for free happiness with success guaranteed. We need fixed women in our society for beautiful things to start happening again in our life and in the society. A fixed woman don't take emotions as food and forget to eat the food itself. Are you a fixed woman? Oh, JB. Trendy listeners, thank you for listening to the episode Power of a Woman, Fixed Woman. Remember, a woman is the foundation for a new generation of life to come. If all women are fixed, then the next generation coming after us will be fixed, and happiness can be absolutely free again with success guaranteed. Oh, JB. Thank you for listening again.